Okay, so as you probably guessed by the title of the video, I'm going to compare the differences between a 2002 Subaru WRX transmission, 5-speed manual, and a 1999 Subaru Forester 5-speed manual transmission. Now, the first big difference is that if you look at one of the case halves here, you'll notice that this is for the Forester, that it has this little ball, and that's where the clutch fork rests onto. It clips on there like that, and then you have your slave cylinder. How do I do that? Here it is. Your slave cylinder bolts there, and the slave cylinder pushes on the clutch fork from the front, pushes that back, which pushes that forward. This is facing the front of the car, and then this pushes on your throwout bearing, which pushes on your pressure plate. That is called a push type clutch. Well, on the WRX transmission, there's something a little different. We have this sleeve cylinder that pushes from the back. It's got this big pin here. This is your clutch fork, and it pushes from the back, and that pulls on the throwout bearing, which pulls on the, it's doing this when you push the clutch, and then this when you let off the clutch. So it's pulling on the pressure plate rather than pushing. That is called a pull type clutch. This is important. If you ever pull one of these transmissions or an engine out of the car, you have to pull this pin. It would be sticking out this hole in this side of the case half. So you pull that pin out, and that releases your clutch fork, so you can pull the motor and the transmission apart. Otherwise, you're not going to do it. Now you'll notice that I have the front differential. This is your front differential right here. Takes the power and sends it to the front wheels. This is the part that sticks out of the transmission. The other side looks the same. This is your pinion shaft. I'll show you that in the other one in a minute. But this is a 390 ratio. So every 3.9 turns of this, you get 1 turn out of this. And the pinion shaft actually runs through the output shaft of the transmission, like you can see here. Completely separate. They do not, even though it looks like it's connected there a little bit, but it's not. It's just the friction of the two. Which there is oil in there when it's running, but so the rear differential of the WRX is a 354 ratio. You're saying, what the hell? Why is it a different ratio? Well, these are the gears that come out of your center differential, which I'll show you in a minute. This comes out of your center differential, and what this does is it reverses the rotation of the drive, or of the gears. These are called transfer gears, and these are out of a Forester, and these are 1-to-1. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. For 1 turn of this, you get 1 turn of this in the opposite direction, but 1 turn nevertheless. So that makes it so the drive shaft spins the right way. Well, in the WRX, it's a 1.1-to-1 ratio, and if you do the math, that works out so that it's a 390 ratio overall by the time you factor in this and the rear differential. It's a 390 ratio. I actually have it inside of that right now, but I don't really want to take that apart just because I don't feel like it. So, I'll show you now is the center differential. This is, again, out of a Forester, but they're identical between a WRX and a Forester. Same thing, you can swap them back and forth. So what you got is this part in here that splines with this output shaft, and this other part inside of there, you can't really see it that well. Hold it up to light, you can see inside there. You can see inside there there's another spline, that splines with this pinion shaft. They spin the same way, so when you're at highway speeds or whatever and you got traction with all four wheels, these are spinning at the same exact speed. Now, this works just like a regular differential, except it's a limited slip, which the limited slip is behind that cover. And you're not really supposed to take those apart, and I'm going to use this one, so I'm not going to take it apart. So, but if you don't know how differential works, just Google it. But instead of having a ring gear, you have this. Picture this as your ring gear, and then everything beyond that is just a regular differential. Regular limited slip differential. Now, I had this go bad. Actually, I did a WRX swap in my Forester, which you can see in some of my other videos. And the kid that I got the WRX from neglected to tell me that the car had a bad center differential. Now what causes that? Well, blowing donuts with your car, for one, will cause it. Mismatched tires will cause it, a bad center differential. Whole different gear ratios in the front and the back, and basically anything that causes a difference in speed between the front and the rear and for a prolonged period of time, or that puts a lot of stress on the center differential, you will burn up the limited slip and it'll just not drive well. So this is the front differential of the Forester. There's the pinion, there's the differential. Again, this is the part that sticks out of the transmission, goes to your front wheels. That is a 4:11 ratio. Along with the rear differential in a Forester, which is also a 4:11 ratio. Now, why would they be different, you ask? Well, the Forester has taller tires, so that's why they're different ratio. Now, that's enough of the transmission, or that's enough of the everything that's not transmission. Now the actual transmission part. What's different between these? Not a lot. I mean, this one looks different because it doesn't have a pinion shaft in it, but this pinion shaft is actually going to go in this, because I'm putting 411 gears in the WRX transmission, so I can put it back in my car, back in my Forester, and get the right cruising RPMs or close to it. So, if you look, actually, I wonder if I can turn my flashlight on. Hang on a second. Alright. Now, these are both the output shafts for both transmissions. This is the WRX, this is the Forester. Now, if you look at first gear, you'll notice that the WRX is a little bit wider. I don't really know what this part on the front of the Forester gear is, but it doesn't appear to actually be attached to first gear, but it does appear. Oh, maybe it doesn't spin. I don't know what the hell that is, to be honest with you. I don't know. Don't know what that does. Second gear. This is second gear. Actually, no, this is reverse. You can tell it's reverse because it's straight cut. All the other gears are cut at an angle. That's just for noise and efficiency, I guess. Angled cut gears are more efficient for some reason. Don't ask me why. I'm not an engineer. But they appear to be pretty much the same. Along with second gear, maybe the WRX is a little bit wider. Yeah, it's about the same. Third gear, this is third gear. They look about the same. Fourth gear, fifth gear. Basically, there's nothing in here that's making me say, wow, the WRX is a lot stronger transmission. Because as anybody knows, they're really not. Oops, just dropped my phone there a second. No. These are the input shafts. Again, this appears to be a bit wider, but also again, the rest of them really look about the same. I'll post the ratios, the different gear ratios for each gear in the description. I don't know those off the top of my head, surprisingly. But this part, the spiral part on each of these, that is what drives your speedometer gear. That is the Forester one. That is the vehicle speed sensor. So, those are different, I'm sure. But these are the same. They each have 9 of these spirals. I counted them, so I know that they're the same. But, this front differential in both of them is open. It's not a limited slip. But those are basically, they're basically the differences between a WRX transmission and a Forester transmission. I know in 03 or 04, I think it was 03, they did make second and third gear on the WRX transmissions wider because people were breaking them. But I don't have an 03 transmission. But I think I'll post a separate video showing how manual transmissions actually work. If anybody's interested in that, I'll probably upload it about the same time as I upload this one. The fundamentals of them. But, the cases they're pretty much exactly the same, other than the clutch fork. Where the clutch forks mount in each of them are different, but other than that, they're pretty much the same. I mean, I could put the WRX internals in the Forester transmission and vice versa. But the reason I want to use the WRX transmission is because I already spent almost $450 on a clutch that is for the WRX, and I don't want to have to. I'm sure I could find an upgraded clutch for the Forester transmission, but I don't really want to, because I already spent that money once. But anybody who is doing a WRX swap into a Forester, Legacy, Outback, anything like that, RS, Impreza RS, you could probably use your transmission and get away with it. I've been running my original transmission for now, and it's held up just fine. It's just the clutch is gonna go. And I figured if I could get all this shit to put the 411s in the WRX transmission and make that run properly, then I'll do that. So, thanks for watching. Rate. If you liked the video, thumbs up, comment, tell me if you like this video, didn't like this video, tell me why. If it's because it was a video comparing WRX transmissions and Forester transmissions, then you shouldn't have watched it. If that's why you didn't like it. But, yeah, thanks for watching.